What's going on, everybody? UnrealEntGaming here today, once again presenting my movie review for Godzilla 2014. Now guys, this video will contain many spoilers that surround the film, so if you guys don't want to hear anything that happens within the film, I really suggest you guys to go on ahead and skip the film. But I really don't see why you guys would do that, because if anything, these spoilers that you're about to hear are going to draw you into the film even more. So let's begin. Now, I will say that this is a very good movie. This is an excellent film produced by Gareth Edwards. I will say that this movie is not perfect. There are a few minor things that were wrong within the film, but I'm going to get into that into a little bit. For starters, from beginning to end, this movie delivered on so many levels. In the beginning, we actually get to learn that, yes, Godzilla is an amphibious creature. He's been around for many generations and millennia. Godzilla is pretty much an ancient dinosaur. He's been around for millions of years, dating back even before the original dinosaurs. And Godzilla is a very unique species of creature, because Godzilla's species depends on nuclear radiation. It thrives on nuclear energy, and pretty much the origin of the Godzilla species is that Godzilla would remain dormant deep within the Earth's crust, due to the fact that Godzilla would thrive on the Earth's inner radiation core to survive, pretty much sinking into the depths of the very bottom of the ocean and beyond. So pretty much in the beginning of the film, they pretty much break down that, yes, in 1954, the so-called nuclear tests weren't tests at all. It was pretty much the Russians and the Americans bombing the crap out of Godzilla, because number one, at the time, they did not know what it was, and number two, being that this creature was literally 150 meters, closely about to 500 feet in length, they saw this creature as a very credible adversary, so they try to kill it, and in retrospective to that, they didn't know that at the time they kept feeding the Godzilla creature, in which case every time they would nuke him, he would literally just absorb the nuclear blast, the nuclear radiation, and all of that. So the beginning of the film carries on with Bryan Cranston's character. He's in the film, and he's pretty much, just talking to some researchers about some tremors that have been going on, and he's been documenting and following these weird anomalies that have been happening, and he pretty much argues with everybody, saying that no, this is not, anything normal. This is very abnormal, and it's occurring very frequently. So pretty much he goes on to his little facility, to the factory where they were conducting tests and whatnot. His wife is there. They're going to go on ahead and, conduct some tests and whatnot, just pretty much to get down to the bottom of, what's been going on over the last, couple of decades. So as they're doing that, they also showed off Serizawa, which is supposed to be another credible scientist and researcher who discovered a massive fossil, or so we thought, in the Philippines in 1999, I believe. And during that time period, a crew of miners actually were sunk below about a couple of 100 feet, to where they discovered a massive carcass that was pretty much unveiled by these miners and these scientists. So Serizawa goes down there, and they pick up huge seismic activities and huge seismic signs of radiation. So as they're pretty much going about, questioning themselves on what the hell this giant skeleton may be, we come to learn that it is in fact one of the remains of an ancient Godzilla creature, and above the actual skeleton is a spore. Now this spore is pretty much a egg that was remained dormant and pretty much found, and Serizawa suggested that whatever this was inside of the creature that died. The creature that was pretty much dormant in a cocoon was very active, so they go on ahead and pick it up, and they move that somewhere else. In retrospective, back to Bryan Cranston's character, they have some sort of a disturbance, sort of say. There was some seismic activity that pretty much destroyed the entire factory. He lost his wife. So pretty much as the movie unfolds, we come to realize that the same creature that Serizawa found in 1999 in the Philippines actually escaped you know, therefore going on ahead to go to Japan, where Bryan Cranston's character was, and destroy the nuclear factory, because the nuclear factory was, you know, harvesting nuclear energy. And if you connect the dots, whatever creature was awakened in the Philippines that went to Japan actually went to Japan to go feed on the nuclear energy. Makes sense, right? So 15 years later passes. We have Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. He's an adult now. He just came back home from the military and whatnot. Once again, he wants to go see his father. He has to go see his father because he's been arrested for trespassing. He goes and meets up with his father for the first time, and his dad pretty much tells him in the house that there's something going on that the government are hiding from the people. These aren't earthquakes. These aren't regular tsunamis happening. There is a pattern going on, and he pretty much discovered that there was some, you know, weird tectonic sonics going around, in which case he pretty much went on to explain that he was getting some evidence and reports of echoes going on, some very strange echoes, and he suggested to his son that whatever these echoes were, they were somehow communicating with each other. So pretty much Bryan Cranston tells his son, we need to go back, we need to trespass one more time to get to the bottom of this. At least let me, you know, let me go on ahead and get my research back, or my papers and my discs and whatever. So they go back, they get caught by the Chinese government, and as they do that, they get sent to the actual epicenter, to ground zero, to where they have been harvesting and keeping this giant cocooned egg, like, you know, thing in the center of where the factory once fell 15 years ago, which was 1999, where Bryan Cranston lost his wife. So they're actually asking each other, like, why the hell, like, what is this thing and whatever. So as the story unfolds, the cocoon hatches. It is the first Muto creature. Now, the first Muto creature makes contact with the humans. It's destroying everything. It's eating everything. And then it decides to fly on off. Aaron Taylor Johnson's character is shocked. Bryan Cranston's character was shocked. Bryan Cranston's character actually fell off a giant rig where he got hurt, and he died later on in the film in the helicopter with his son. So pretty much as the military is getting involved more and more on this, they pretty much explain what the Mutos is, and the fact that the Mutos does have the ability to create and emit an EMP-like bomb every time it decides to stomp on the ground. So pretty much the Mutos has the ability to create an EMP whenever it wants, because remember, a Muto creature emits a lot of radiation. It's pretty much a nuclear creature. So as the movie goes on, you know, Serizawa is actually going over some stuff with Bryan Cranston's son, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Aaron Taylor Johnson goes on to tell Serizawa that his dad once told him that, you know, there was these echoes that his dad was picking up and reading, that it looked like they were communicating with each other. So Serizawa, like, just right off the bat, suggests that whatever happened with those echoes happened the same day that, you know, the Mutos hatched, destroyed everything, and flew away. So what Serizawa suggested was that the fact that the Mutos was actually communicating with something else out of the norm. So the Mutos goes on ahead to go to Hawaii. On its way to Hawaii, actually, the Mutos was able to capture a Russian submarine, which it actually took the submarine and it brought to Hawaii, where the Mutos was tearing the, you know, submarine apart, eating its nuclear energy and whatnot. As, you know, some of the military guys are sent to Hawaii to investigate on where the hell this Muto went, or where the submarine went. As the humans are walking around, they look up and they see the Mutos literally eating all of the nuclear bombs and the energy from that nuclear sub. The Mutos makes contact with the humans. You know, there's an all-out fight going on. In that process, we see Godzilla make his first debut in Hawaii, as he pretty much creates a giant tsunami just getting out of the water and whatnot. So our first contact is with Godzilla and the Mutos in the actual Hawaiian airport. Now, my problem with this is the fact that little mini fight that happened in Hawaii was the shortest thing in the world. Many of you guys saw the WonderCon trailer. It was exactly that. The Mutos was looking around for more food before it flew away. It pretty much turned around. We saw Godzilla come into play. Godzilla looked huge. He looked like a freaking bear. Godzilla turned around. He growled. He charged the Muto. He pretty much beat the Muto up. Muto flew away. Godzilla chased after it. So pretty much the scientists in the government are pretty much trying to determine where these Muto creatures are going to go. The Muto creature actually is said to go to California, specifically San Francisco. In the meantime, while the Mutos is trying to go to San Francisco, Godzilla is chasing the Muto in the water, while the military is chasing Godzilla, who's chasing the Muto. Also, there were other reports where there was a second Muto hatching in Nevada, and the egg that was founded in Nevada was the same egg that was founded in the Philippines. So pretty much there were two eggs that they were discovered. One of them was brought in Nevada, the other one was kept where it was before. So pretty much the Nevada Muto hatches, and it looks like the same exact Muto that hatched in Japan, except this was the female Muto, and the female Muto was much bigger than the male. The male Muto hatched in Japan, and it had wings. It was about 150 feet. The female Muto hatched in Nevada. It was roughly about 300 feet, and it did not have wings, but it had 8 legs. So pretty much the whole epicenter of that was the male hatched, the female hatched, and now they needed nuclear energy to thrive because they were about to get into mating season, if you get what I'm saying. So the male Muto and the female Muto were going to mate. The female Muto was actually pregnant and was looking to harvest her nest and whatnot. So pretty much, to break this down, the Mutos actually converted in San Francisco, where they met up with Godzilla. And let me just say that the one problem that I had with this film is the lack of fighting. Where was the I mean, literally, this film lacked Godzilla fighting the Mutos. Although the ending was absolutely phenomenal and the fights were amazing, I felt like the movie surrounded and dated more around the humans than Godzilla. As the Mutos pretty much converged in San Francisco, Godzilla fought the flying Mutos first, where it ran into the mother, and then after that, Godzilla fought the mom, which is the female. And given the fact that the moment the female Muto and Godzilla made contact, they collided. Godzilla grabbed the Muto by the neck, slammed it against the ground. It looked like it was about to stomp on him and eat it or whatever. The moment Godzilla was about to finish off the female, the male just comes down from the sky, pretty much flying in on Godzilla, grabs him from the back, and now we have a 2-on-1 fight going on. We have Godzilla battling both of the Mutoses, and guess what? Godzilla is getting his ass kicked because you have one Mutos that's hanging on Godzilla's back, trying to rip its neck off, which was the male who's able to fly, and then you have the female, which was huge, literally just tackling Godzilla. So eventually both of the Mutos creatures were able to bring Godzilla down, and that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was the fact that as Godzilla was trying to get up, the Mutoses were just stomping away at Godzilla. So pretty much Godzilla didn't have a chance at all until Bryan Cranston's character, his son's character, actually Aaron Taylor Johnson, discovered where the mom laid the eggs. So pretty much when he discovered where she laid the eggs, because in retrospective they were actually going to bomb the creatures out into sea using a very powerful nuclear bomb that was confiscated by the Mutos creatures and whatnot. So pretty much the mom was able to plant that bomb that was supposed to be used to kill them for her seeds. And so the female Mutos pretty much laid her eggs on top of this bomb, where where her offspring was able to feast off this energy bomb. So pretty much to convert all this, the movie focused more on Aaron Taylor Johnson and the military more than Godzilla or the Mutos. Now, they kept bringing it up, of course, they kept executing it, but they pretty much showed off a different variation of what would have happened. If this movie was strictly a Godzilla point of view, it wouldn't have made any sense, because you would ask yourself, well, why are they fighting and whatnot? But pretty much as Godzilla is getting beaten by both of these creatures, Aaron Taylor Johnson finds out that his team pretty much extracted the bomb, so now the eggs are pretty much vulnerable for damage. He sets this jet fueler or tanker on fire, pretty much igniting everything and blowing everything up in the nest. So pretty much Aaron Taylor Johnson killed off the offspring of the Mutos. And in any case, there were hundreds of them getting ready to hatch. I mean, literally hundreds of little Muto babies just waiting to feed on energy so they can get big like their parents and go off and, you know, spawn and create some more Mutos creatures. So when that happened, the mother of the Mutos actually found out and realized that there was something wrong. So she gets off of Godzilla, she goes to her nest and realizes that all of the little Mutos hatchlings have been dead. They were killed. They were burned off. So she's causing a fit. The male actually joins on in. So pretty much the Mutos completely forget about Godzilla for a second, which is very bad on their part, because after that happened, you know, the female had her eyes set on Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, which she actually saw him lying there, and it looked like she was about to eat Aaron Taylor Johnson, until all of a sudden you saw this blue aura come up from Godzilla's tail to his back, and then eventually when the mother turned around, Godzilla blasted her with the atomic breath, and she couldn't really fight back because it was that strong. So Godzilla was pouring out this atomic breath. He was beaming her into the neck, and she fell down. She didn't even have any energy to stand back up. And right before Godzilla was going to finish her off, the male steps in. So the male Muto flies on in, gets on Godzilla's head. You know, he's biting on his neck. Godzilla can't do shit except he can't see because this creature is like literally tugging him. So they go off, you know, into the inner city and whatnot. They do their little battle. And what was cool about this was the fact that Godzilla couldn't catch this creature because he was able to fly. So Godzilla was getting really irritated, and you actually saw it in its face. And once the Muto pretty much went off in the air and was about to come down and headbutt Godzilla, Godzilla just pretty much tail whipped the Mutos into a building so hard that Godzilla snapped his neck. Godzilla snapped the Muto's neck with the tail whip, not only causing the Muto to hit the building with full velocity, but there were many pillars and poles that were impaled on the Muto's neck. So the moment Godzilla hit the Mutos, not only did he break his neck, but he also caused the Muto to go flying right into a bunch of poles and pillars, which pretty much stabbed him. So the first Muto is dead. The building actually comes falling on top of Godzilla. Godzilla gets hit with a skyscraper as it's coming down. So then Godzilla gets right back up as that's happening, and pretty much he's actually damaged. A lot of people were saying that, oh, Godzilla didn't look damaged. Godzilla looked damaged. Not only was he getting attacked by the military, but he was getting attacked by two giant mega creatures. So that leaves the mom, which is the female Muto, and Godzilla. Now, Aaron Taylor Johnson is trying to get the nuclear warhead that they extracted from the nest out into the sea so they can go on ahead and you know, lure the Mutos out there so they can kill it. As Aaron Taylor Johnson is, you know, on the boat and he's trying to get to the, you know, center of the ocean and trying to lead the Muto stops Aaron Taylor Johnson's boat. She goes on ahead to look at him, and right before she's about to grab the bomb and just go on ahead and feast on it so she can regain her energy, Godzilla comes from behind her, picks her up by the neck, and sort of like the King Kong sequence when King Kong had the T-Rex by each side of the jaw, Godzilla grabs the Muto by the mouth, and he stretches her mouth open. Now, I thought that Godzilla was going to rip her head off or pretty much snap her neck. What Godzilla did was, as he's tugging on her jaws to open up wider and wider and wider, he pretty much has it to an angle where he opened up her mouth so wide that he pretty much gathered up all the energy that he could, and he just unleashed his atomic breath inside through her esophagus and through her throat, which pretty much caused her to pretty much blow up from the inside. So pretty much Godzilla shot out his atomic breath inside of the Mutos' mouth and pretty much causing the Muto to blow up, and its actual head came off. You know, the atomic breath was so powerful that Godzilla ripped the female Mutos' head off, and right when the battle ended, Godzilla was holding this creature's head in its hand, and, you know, it pretty much gave out like a giant roar and whatnot to signify that Godzilla was the man and that he finally did it. But in retrospective, Aaron Taylor Johnson's still floating on this boat, and the fact that this nuke that was on the boat was armed and ready to detonate in 5 minutes, he thought he was doomed. These helicopters come in, they save him. The boat goes off in the background, you know, a giant nuke goes off. Before that, Godzilla actually fell down to the ground. A lot of people thought that Godzilla died. So right after Aaron Taylor Johnson wakes up, he finds out that, you know, everything's okay with him. He's not dead. He wants to go and find his wife and kid. In the meantime, millions of people are praising Godzilla for being a hero, king of monsters and whatnot, for defeating this creature, and they were actually questioning on it if they were going to kill him or not. So Godzilla is lying there in the middle of the city, laying down, knocked out cold. Godzilla was knocked out because not only did he take a beating from the Mutos, he took a beating from the military. This dude was getting hit in the neck with missiles and stuff. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Everybody's surrounding Godzilla. Scientists, firefighters are looking for people. So pretty much as that happens, Godzilla wakes up. He opens up his eyes, and the first thing he does is look around. He gets up. He's like pretty much just, you know, shakes all the rubble off of him and whatnot. So Godzilla looked like he was actually limping away. Godzilla is walking away, and the moment he gets into the water, Godzilla fell in the water. It's not like he just dived on in there. Godzilla fell in the water because he had no energy, and pretty much everybody knew that in order for this creature to, you know, remain dormant and, I guess you could say, healthy, it had to go back in the water, because Godzilla's natural habitat was not on land. It is actually in the sea, deep in the sea. So the movie ends with Godzilla just falling into the water, swimming away, and then pretty much swimming back down into the depths of the ocean, where it can just pretty much gather up more energy from the Earth's core in order for it to fuel him. So honestly, guys, this film, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I really don't see why people would complain. Although my only complaint is that they were lacking in fights. I wanted to see Godzilla fight the Mutos so bad. Although it would not make any sense for Godzilla to fight any of the Mutos one-on-one, because he would win. There were several cases where Godzilla actually did have a one-on-one, and he was winning until either the flying Mutos pretty much flew away, or the 8-legged Muto had a call for help. But when it was a 2-on-1, Godzilla was pretty much having such a difficult time, because imagine you're getting into a fight, right? You have one person holding you from the back, covering your eyes, trying to bite your neck, and the other one's in front of you pretty much punching you in the ribs. That's exactly what happened in this film. Godzilla was getting hit from all different angles. The Mutoses were killing him and pretty much beating him down until, you know, Godzilla decided to tail whip one and blast the other one into smithereens. But the movie does set up for a sequel. I know that for a fact, just by the way it ended, because everybody was talking about how Godzilla wasn't a hero, but he wasn't a villain. He was just there because of his species, of his origins. Godzilla is an ancient dinosaur. He's used to killing off other dinosaurs. You know, Godzilla doesn't know that people exist. I mean, just like how we human beings walk by every day, we don't really pay attention or notice all of these little ants on the ground. So that's pretty much what Godzilla was like. He didn't really pay attention for the people. He kept paying attention for the Mutos creatures because they were his natural enemies. You know, so pretty much out of 5 stars, I would give this movie, honestly, 5 out of 5 stars. If anything, I would probably give it a 4.5, just because they were lacking in fights. I wanted to see more fights so bad. I wanted to see them fight even more, but unfortunately, we didn't really get that. So for me personally, the movie told an incredible story. The fights were pretty amazing. Although the only thing, guys, that I will say if you go see this film that you won't like is the fact that they didn't show off as many fights as Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim had more fights because there were a lot more kaijus and Jaegers. There were like 5 kaijus fighting off like, you know, actually no, there were 5 Jaegers fighting off like 20 kaijus. In this film, you had 1 monster fighting 2. So I feel like the acting was executed very, very well. I feel like everything was done on point. And honestly, this movie is a definite. You guys have to go see this film. I mean, Me, I walked into this film just expecting a lot, and I got more than I wanted. Although some things weren't shown from the actual trailers that will be shown on DVD, of course. I mean, that's how they always do. But if I had to recommend this movie, I definitely would, and I really hope you guys go on ahead and check it out. So thank you all for watching, guys. If you guys saw Godzilla already, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I want to hear your thoughts and your opinions. Also, guys, if you guys are Godzilla fans, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for all latest Godzilla news, information, and updates. If you guys enjoyed the video, as always, don't forget to hit it up with a like and a favorite. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully there will be a sequel. For those of you out there who did see the movie, what were some things that you guys liked? What were some things that you guys didn't like? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my little movie review for Godzilla 2014. It's late right now. I have to go to bed, but either way, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody. Peace.